Today, we're going to explore a really personal story about the crushing weight of depression and what happens when an unexpected bit of hope, a bit of mercy, changes everything. It's the story of a woman named Amina, but you might find that the feelings she goes through are actually pretty familiar.
So the story starts right here with this one sentence, and it's a feeling a lot of us might recognize. For Amina, this wasn't just about being a little groggy. It was about something much, much heavier that came back the second she opened her eyes.
You know, the feeling she's talking about, it isn't a sharp pain. It's not some loud alarm going off in her head. It's quieter than that. It's more like this persistent, dull pressure that just settles in and stays.
Just heavy, an invisible but totally enormous weight that made even a simple thing, like getting out of bed, feel like climbing a mountain. It's that deep kind of exhaustion that sleep just doesn't touch, you know?
Okay, so let's really try to understand this feeling, because what Amina was going through wasn't just sadness. It was this very real, tangible, yet invisible burden that colored every single part of her life.
And this really breaks down what that heaviness actually feels like. See, it's not just one thing. It's all these little losses adding up. It's a constant tiredness that just kills your motivation. It's when things you used to love, music, hobbies, suddenly lose their color. Food doesn't taste the same. Conversations feel like they're happening miles away, and even smiling, even that feels like work.
And here's where the struggle gets even deeper. For Amina, this bone-deep emotional exhaustion started to spill over into her spiritual life. And that's when the sadness began to transform into something much more painful: guilt.
And this says it all, right? This was the real heart of her pain. The fear wasn't just about being sad anymore. It was this terror that her sadness had built some kind of wall between her and her faith, between her and God. She started to believe that her low energy was a sign of spiritual failure.
This chart just lays out that internal battle perfectly. On one side, you've got the voice of depression whispering in your ear, telling you you're failing, you're distant, you're weak. But then there's the spiritual reality, which is so much kinder. It says, no, you're just human. You need compassion. Your struggle doesn't push God away. And Amina was trapped right in the middle of this fight. But then, right in the middle of all that weight, all that guilt, something shifts. A new idea, just a flicker of a thought, breaks through the noise. And this becomes the turning point in her entire story. This is it. This is the central idea that changes everything. The realization that, yeah, depression is heavy. It's incredibly heavy. But there's a force in the universe that is infinitely heavier, infinitely more powerful, and that's God's mercy. It just completely reframes the entire struggle.
And this question, wow, it is so crucial. Amina starts to wonder if her whole perspective is wrong. Instead of seeing her weakness as something pushing God away, she asks, what if it's the very reason she's being held? What if, in her lowest moment, she's actually being supported the most?
And this gets to the absolute core of it all. Mercy isn't a reward for good performance. It's not a prize for being strong. The source uses this amazing analogy. When someone is drowning, you don't stand on the shore and critique their swimming technique, you just pull them out. That's mercy. It's for the moments you can't save yourself. It meets you exactly where you are.
So this huge shift in her perspective reveals some really profound lessons. Let's break down what this story teaches us about how mercy actually works.
So here are 5 key takeaways. First, and this is so important, your feelings are not facts. Depression messes with your perception, but it doesn't change your real worth. Second, mercy is not conditional. It's not based on how strong you feel. Third, struggling is not the same thing as failing. The effort, the intention, no matter how small, that's what matters. Fourth, and this is a big one, sometimes weakness is what invites mercy in because it opens you up to getting help from outside yourself. And finally, you are not alone in this. Even when you feel completely empty, you are not alone.
And that really brings us to the most important part. Look, understanding all of this doesn't mean the struggle just magically disappears overnight. Of course not. But what it does mean is that you don't have to face it by yourself. It gives you a path forward.
This is such a critical point. The source makes it crystal clear that faith and practical help are partners. Turning to God for strength and turning to a therapist or a trusted friend for support, they aren't opposites. They're 2 parts of the same healing journey. They actually strengthen each other.
So we'll end with this thought. This is the ultimate takeaway from Amina's story. It's a message of profound, unshakable hope. It's the idea that no matter how heavy that weight gets, no matter how deep the darkness feels, there is something vaster, something stronger, and something that will always, always be there to hold you. Because mercy is always